Hi there, so welcome. Why does it still take 79 days to buy a Fife home? I'm going to give you some insight into that. So, as an experienced Fife estate agent, I've seen many Fife homeowners frustrated by the time that it's taken to sell their properties and complete their sale. So, getting an offer versus completing a sale, two very different things. So, in this article, what I want to do is basically go through with yourselves buying and selling a home in Fife why it takes so long, basically, and how perhaps you can speed up that process and make things a little bit easier and smoother for yourself. So, one of the main reasons why it takes so long to sell a house is the conveyancing process. What is the conveyancing process? Well, basically, that refers to the legal process. So that's about transferring the property ownership from the seller to the buyer. That can take, depending on when your offer comes in and the offer being accepted and the completion of the sale, take some time. And that's what I'm going to cover with you. So in the last 12 months, it's taken 84 days on average in Fife for an offer to be accepted to the completion point. So that doesn't take into account getting your agent out, having the conversations with your agent, choosing your agent even actually. So who is the best person to support you and help you do that? Signing it up, advertising that, taking it to the market, getting your offer in, and then from that point, on average in Fife, it's taken 8 to 4 days. So we often talk about that, don't we, in regards to how long that can necessarily take from start to finish. And we do say and we recommend a window from deciding you're selling to that completion point of between 5 and 6 months. And I'll run through why that is the case with you. So, as I say, on average in Fife, it's 84 days from offer accepted to completing, keys handed over, money changed hands. So that's slightly up from 83 days in 2021. So it doesn't sound like much, but it's a really high moment, isn't it? And so when you're looking to have it completed, you want it done sooner rather than later, don't you? So the problem with conveyancing processes is that it needs to be fit for the purpose of today, 21st century. There is a lot of legal parts to this, and they sometimes can take quite a bit of time. So many blame local authorities for it. So sometimes they feel that that takes too long. They've got to complete the searches on the property. It's a vital part of the conveyancing process, and it often takes up to 7 or 8 weeks for that to happen. Certainly that was the case in 2021. What does that mean, the searches of the property? That's checking the titles. What is the property? Who owns it? What does it look like? However, the national average in the last 9 months has shown that it's dropped a little bit from that 4-week window to about 2 weeks. That can vary, obviously. You're going to have locality issues with that, but it still takes as long to sort the conveyancing out on top of all of that, because that's only one part of that conveyancing process. So let's have a look at Fife and see what that looks like. And it's a wee bit of a discussion point. So if you're watching, you're interested in this, then feel free to message us and we can certainly come back to you with regards to any questions you may have. But in the last 12 months in Fife, it's taken 79 days on average from when an offer is accepted to the completion of the sale. It's down from 80 days in 2021. Doesn't seem much one day, but actually it's a lot when you're at that pressure point and you just want moved and your family and your circumstances are relying on that, doesn't it? So interestingly, it only takes an average of 30 days from putting your Fife home on the market to agreeing your offer. So although anecdotally evidence is suggesting that the figure is getting higher for most recent sales in the area in the last quarter, it may not necessarily impact you. When I talk about that 12-month period as well and 79 days on average to sell in Fife, I'll give you a wee bit of a feel for what it's like locally. So within Cooper, for instance, that 79 days is a little bit longer. It's actually on average taking 83. So again, you're managing that. So if you're thinking 83 days plus your 30 days, that's 120 days, well, near enough. So you're really at 4+ months. So that's Cooper. If you go then to the East Neuk, it's on average taken 81 days. So again, that's an increase of a few days there. Glenrothes actually is a little bit less in time. That's only 76 days. So a little bit faster there. Not really sure why that is, but there's a reason, I'm sure. Leadenmouth, bang on average in Fife, 79 days. And then in St Andrews, 78. So not really much of a variance in there other than Glenrothes being a little bit quicker. But it's interesting, isn't it, to see kind of how long it takes, and then it allows you to help yourself plan how is this going to work for me, and how does it work for the children? So you could be in a situation just now where you're planning maybe the new school intake time. So you're working to August/September. How do you get yourself ready? How long is that going to take? And you have to factor this into that. So it's a way of us really helping you. So what are the issues that cause that amount of days? Why does it take that long? I'm going to cover that. So firstly, the number of annual property sales nationally has increased by 50%. So property sales increase, the conveyancers are going to be busy. So the lawyers are going to be busy, the local councils are going to be busy with the searching. So it all adds to their workloads, and that's going to add to that timeline. So if that's increased by 50% in the past decade, up from 803,800 in 2012 to over 1,263,440, to be precise, in 2022. That means more work, as I say, is there for the conveyancing firms, and it just takes so much longer. And like everyone else with low unemployment, it's a challenge to try and get people, if they're short-staffed, to fill those roles, to make that process quicker. Something to think about. However, the number of conveyancing firms decreased as well by 10% in that period. So not only are the firms short-staffed, there's 10% less of them. So again, that's going to be everything coming into the funnel at one time and not enough people to process it. So that's going to cause some issue. That means the number of conveyancing cases a solicitor is now having to deal with has increased. It's obvious that that's going to be the case, isn't it? From an average of the early 40s at the end of 2012 to the late 70s by 2022. So it does show you that there is a difference there in what people are actually having to do. So almost actually doubled from 40 to 70 cases. So that's a big jump, isn't it? So that all takes time, and that's where the delay process comes from. So in that instance, it's really about yourself factoring all of that in to allow you that timeline that you're needing to work to for whatever pain point you have. So to speed up the conveyancing process, there are 5 things that you could do that can help you. So to start, a good Fife estate agent should value your property accurately. That's the first thing. They should price it correctly and market it effectively to attract the right Fife buyer for you. They should also be able to manage the conveyancing process effectively, ensuring that everything runs smoothly and quickly. Certainly very important that your agent works hand in hand with the solicitors and local firms to make sure that it is progressing. They should be calling them and updating where things are with yourself, making sure that the process is advancing the way that it needs to be advancing, and also identifying if there are any issues that perhaps we can interject with and assist with getting that across the line. So it's a way of kind of helping you do that. Adoption of technology as well. That's a massive thing for conveyancers just now, and that is increasing their efficiencies in the conveyancing process. This could include standardising online sellers, their information packs, for instance, your digital logbooks, automated land registry. That was a big thing as well, and that's a quick process. It makes things speed up a bit. You've not got that delay point. Local authority searches that we've spoken about as well. So those take some time. So if they've got good processes in place and good systems in place, that will make that go quicker. Electronic platforms is a big thing. We say it constantly, don't we? Everything happens on here. So it really is a big thing. But again, we just rely on it in every aspect of life, don't we? Having those platforms in place so that the information between estate agents can transfer between estate agents, conveyancing lawyers, mortgage brokers, surveyors, your buyers and your sellers. These are all things that really speed that process up, and these innovations should speed it up. And the whole buying and selling process should be much quicker and reduce the workload on the conveyancers, but also allow a smoother and faster completion for your sale, which is really what everybody wants. So that's kind of the second part of that. And thirdly, by choosing the right Fife conveyancer and solicitor as well. So it's always really good to do your homework. We talk often about doing homework on estate agents, don't we? But actually, likewise, do your homework on your conveyancer as well. Speak to friends, speak to your work colleagues, see if anyone's utilised them and what their service delivery has been like, and then make a good judgment on that as well, and that should be able to help you in how you advance things for yourself. Other topic, Fife homeowners can reduce the timescale for getting to exchange and completion. Well, how are you going to do that? You might want to know. So the fourth thing on that is that the government has started intervening for good for once. We talk about often how it's not necessarily for the good. So they have started intervening in this. So one massive issue is ensuring that the relevant material information prospective Fife home buyers need to know about the property is available. it's upfront, and it's marketed correctly. If all of that detail is accurate and it's marketed correctly, then that's a really good starting point. But if you're at the situation where that's not been clear, your agent hasn't listed the property accurately, they've not understood what the property is, perhaps you've got some boundary issues, it's important to understand that at the outset, because actually that can really step things back, because that's what you're agreeing to purchase. And if that's not identified till later, you can actually end up going back in the beginning of the process. So really important to look into that as well. So the information will undoubtedly speed up the sales process if you get that right, and reduce also sales falling through. That's a big thing, isn't it? So you want to make sure that that information is accurate. Trade standards are implementing a 3-stage strategy for disclosure of material information on the property when it comes onto the market. So really important that that information is accurate. Very important that you as an agent work very closely with your client to ensure that that is true information that's on there. And that will make sure that it's implemented properly. And finally, as Fife homeowners, you can also do several things to speed up that transaction. When buying a Fife property, there are several steps you can take to speed up the conveyancing process. So start with instructing your conveyancer and solicitor before making an offer on a property. We always advise our clients to do that. So not only about buying a property, but also selling. Sometimes a client will think, right, I'm going to sell the house, and they haven't actually thought about what they need to do in working with the people that are going to support them with that. So it's not as straightforward as just engaging the estate agent. Really important, actually, that you engage a legal firm of conveyancers, get everything ready, upfront, organised before you even start the selling. Likewise, if you're buying, it's important to share your information with the conveyancer that's going to help you with your purchase in advance, so that everyone is prepared and knows that that is coming onto a workload that they may be struggling with. So as I say, make sure that you instruct your conveyancer and your solicitor before making your offer. It's a really important thing to do. If you need any advice on that or who to choose conveyancers, then drop me a line here. You can message me directly. We have affiliations with a few, and certainly if you need some guidance and advice on that, more than happy to help. What they do in that process as well is they conduct their anti-money laundering checks. So they're making sure that you're ready and everything's good to go. But it's also essential to a good completion to arrange your mortgage as soon as you can beforehand as well. Often that is an issue that we see. So if you haven't got your mortgage in place, you haven't got your approval in principle in place, that can really delay your offer as well. You may lose out, which is really not what you want. You want to make sure that you can secure that property if you've fallen in love with it, don't you? So again, if you're needing some guidance with that, we do work with some brokers, so we can easily help you and direct you along to someone. We're not financial advisors, but we can put you in touch with someone that is really very good at that. So again, just drop me a message if you're interested in that. That will help you complete your full mortgage application without delays and avoid potential hold-ups. If you have a hold-up, it could potentially make you lose out on the beautiful property that you've maybe fallen in love with, your dream home. And we would obviously want you to ensure that you get that. So other steps to speed up the conveyancing process include instructing your conveyancer and your solicitor to order your local searches as soon as possible. Paying for your survey promptly is a big thing as well, and getting your home paperwork ready. If you've got any planning permissions, for instance, if you've had any changes, if you've had any boundary issues, anything at all, if you've had work carried out, any treatments, again, really important. So if you've had woodwork treatments, etc., damp treatments, really important that you have all this certification at the outset. That really saves on a lot of issue at the end. It's also a good idea to use the estate agent and ask for regular updates from them. So as I said earlier on, your estate agent should work with your conveyancer in keeping you right on that. So really important that you get a good one that does that for you. Make sure you're fully informed about your sales progress. Get weekly updates. He who shouts loudest gets the attention would always be my recommendation. And lastly, don't delay answering queries. If you're questioned about something in the process, it's really important that you respond to that promptly. If you do that, then that's really going to produce a quick response at the other side as well, and make sure your conveyancing goes along nice and smoothly. And it can help speed up all of the process. And that's what everybody wants. You want to try and shorten that day so you can get into your dream home. But overall, taking these steps and being proactive can ensure a smoother and faster conveyancing process when buying your property and your dream home. So from me, I think what we're seeing in Fife at the moment is a bit of a surge in transactions. We talk about transactions rather than property listing, and that's placing a real significant pressure on that system that we've just described. And it is resulting in longer timescales to sell a property. But if you adopt the technologies, you choose the right Fife estate agent, you get a really good conveyancing solicitor, you're organised as far as the homeowner time for yourself and the paperwork that you require, and get your property sale up and running quickly. What that will happen is that you'll get a good conclusion, a good completion, keys handed over really fast and smoothly, and that will help you on your way. If you found this useful, and there's any top tips in here, anything actually you want to discuss on this, certainly feel free to reach out to us. Be more than happy to give you some details. The link to the podcast is on here as well. So again, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it fully, feel free to do so later. And that's it from us. Just some top tips for you. And it's Perry at Fife Properties TV. Take care. Bye-bye.